Is not only just about cholesterol, and it's so important to remember. Don't get focused in on just only the total cholesterol number, and this is the reason why. So, hello, everybody. Today, we're going to talk about heart disease, and there are a number of names for that. We could call it arteriosclerosis, hardening of the arteries. Stroke falls into that same category because the process of heart disease begins with the immune response that creates inflammation. We all know that there's a connection with our immune system and then this process of inflammation. They're very much connected, and that is the process that begins heart disease. It's an irritation, it's an endothelial. That means the inner lining of the arteries dysfunction, meaning irritation or inflammation. That is the beginning of the process of heart disease. And we want to be preventative, we want to be proactive. So, what is it all about? What is cholesterol all about? And why should we be focusing on so much more than just total cholesterol? And that is quite often we have insufficient amount of nutrients that are needed for many of the processes in our body. So, for example, when we have lower levels of certain nutrients and vitamins, then the protection of our arteries is not going to be as robust, and we're going to have a lack thereof. So, what's important is to make sure that a person has sufficient vitamins and minerals by doing really good in depth blood testing and looking at these levels on a more optimal numbers, not just the ranges. And also, very much important to look at these numbers of lab testing uh, of these vitamins and minerals, and how the body is using these vitamins and minerals. What is it like within the cell? Not just the serum, not just what's in the bloodstream, but what's within the cell. How is the body using, for example, vitamin B12, and not just checking a serum vitamin B12? That's very important because that leads to these processes in the body that when the vitamins are deficient, there could be more inflammation. There can be more substances in the body produced, such as homocysteine, that create inflammation if there's a lacking of certain vitamins and minerals. We want to make sure that the cholesterol is not breaking down to very small, dense particles, which can be measured on a very advanced blood test that measures not just LDL, which is usually just a calculation. It's a calculation that can be deceiving. It's because any calculation doesn't really individualize that result and really show the active process going on. What we want to use is a special process. It's done in the lab at any of the major labs where they can look at the particle size and they can look at the number of these small, dense particles, because that's going to be the higher risk in heart disease. And there are dietary, nutritional, lifestyle things that can be done to improve that situation. We also want to make sure there's no oxidative stress. We test on in depth blood tests states of inflammation and oxidative stress that usually occurs in the mitochondria. This all should be investigated before we go down the path of just looking at cholesterol. Why is there oxidative stress and why is there inflammation? That is addressed in integrative medicine and functional medicine. And this is why it's important not just to focus in on the total cholesterol, but on the particle size, the number of the particles, the protective types of cholesterol. And we want those to be not calculated, but actually measured through these advanced tests. We want to make sure that these levels of inflammatory products, such as homocysteine and uric acid and insulin, are very much controlled and at optimal numbers. And of course, we all talking about gut health. We want to make sure that the gut is having its diverse amount of species of bacteria and there's not an overgrowth of the inflammatory types of bacteria. This is very important because gut health has definitely been associated with other metabolic conditions and also cardiovascular disease. So, everyone, this is an important message that heart disease can be prevented quite often, as long as you're looking at these underlying processes that occur and not just getting caught up with the numbers. All right, everyone, give us a call or reach out if you have any questions about this. Our website is right there on the screen. You can reach out and let us know if any questions. Have a great and healthy day.